Hey everybody, Steele here for more stories from the Horde. Today we have my 1938 Ford Custom Deluxe Coupe. All steel. Solid ass car. So, one day, back in the day, I drove to an area in Southern California called Loma. That is just west of Riverside. Had a customer up there that, or not really a customer, more of a partner kind of. We did some restorations together. I did all the body and paint, and he did all the restoration crap. And I would go to, he had a shop out back at his place, and I would go up there and excuse me, lunch. Anyway, I would do some touch-ups or, paint some small parts for him or whatever. He always needed something to do. So anyway, I'm going back and forth. I do the same route all the time. There's the one way there and one way back to my place. Part of it was running through this little neighborhood, which is kind of like a little barrio area. So there's a so I'm always looking for projects. I don't anymore really, because I'm trying to, I'm letting go about 30 cars right now. This is not one of them, but I'm trying to cut back. So hard. So hard not to buy cars. So anyway, I'm trying not to buy more cars, so I'm trying to look. I don't look at the offer. I only like to offer up, when I'm on the toilet. That's it. So I get up and my legs are asleep, or I fall asleep. Anyway, I'm not looking for any cars to buy, but stuff comes out of the woodwork sometimes. I just gotta have it. Anyway, so back in the day, when I was a young buck, I needed to fill the stable with some cars. So I'm always looking around for some cars to buy, right? Sometimes I'd buy them and flip them. Sometimes I'd buy them and marry them, like this one. And sometimes I'd use them for parts, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you always look for a car. Maybe you're looking for something for somebody else. Or you just turn somebody else onto it, whatever. Anyway, it's what you do when you're a car freak, okay? If you're into other things, then you're into that kind of stuff. But 30s and 40s cars just, they make me tingle. And I was looking for a good coupe for a long time. So driving up to my buddy's place up in Riverside, i.e. Loma, which is in Southern California, here where we reside currently. There was a certain route I take each time back and forth, and part of it was a little shortcut through a little barrio area that had some older homes in them. And one day the gate was open to this house, and I saw behind the gate, or behind the house, was this little headlight and fender peeking out. Well, that looked like a 30s or 40s car, a little pre-war car I'm interested in. So I put that in the memory bank, filed it away, so in the future when I had money in my pocket, I could stop and ask about it. That brings up the most important thing about buying cars, okay? Take it from me, I've bought a lot of cars and I buy them right, okay? If you find a car laying around, okay, say you found your Camaro, whatever your thing is you want, or whatever, even if you don't really want that car, but you see an old car you want to ask about, don't ask about it until you have money in your pocket. Because the minute you put the bug in their ear, they're going to turn around and sell to somebody else if you don't have the money, okay? If you make them interested in selling it, which they maybe have not been before. I mean, like, hey, I don't want to sell that car. And you go, hey, well, I'll give you $3,000 for it. Wow, really? And you don't have $3,000, you only have $100, okay? Then they will have this $3,000 in their head, and you know what? He can go buy himself flat screen TV and watch his I Love Lucy reruns on, okay? So you need to not ask or bug people until you have cash in your pocket for what you think you're going to pay for that car, or more, whatever, okay? So, I didn't have any cash in my pocket, so I wasn't going to stop and ask, okay? And at the time, like now, I have more cars than I need. Anywho, time goes on. One day I'm driving back from the old Gary's house, and they're having a garage or a yard sale right there at that house, okay? Boom. So, and I just got paid. So I had a little bit of money in my pocket. I figured, you know what, if nothing else, I'll throw in a little deposit and I'll sell one of my kids or something else to buy for it. So I stopped in, and they're selling some dude's stuff off, all his tools and everything else. And I said, hey, there was an old car in your backyard I saw a while back. Are you interested in selling that thing? She goes, yeah. She goes, my ex is in jail, and we ain't going to see him for a while. We have to move. So the car's in the backyard. No one else is seeing this thing but me. So I go, how much do you want for it? She goes, well, what's fair? You know? So I said, how about $2,000? She thinks about it. She goes, we think it's worth more than that. And I said, well, it may be, but, you know, I have $2,000 in my pocket right now. And, you know, I'll get it out of your way, and you have some money to move on. She goes, well, let me think about it. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to go down to Jack in the Box, have myself a low-calorie hamburger and a diet soda, and I'll come back and see if you guys have decided yet. She goes, okay. I said, think about it. She goes, okay. So I go down to the local Jack in the Box, and I start feeding my face. Try to take as much time as I can. And I go back over. Pull up, and I can kind of tell she's got some spring in her step. So she walks over to the truck, and she goes, we'll take it. Hell yeah. So I whipped out $2,000, gave her the money, went over to my buddy Gary's place, who was much closer than I lived at, got his trailer, loaded that car up. Took me like half the day because it had 4 flat tires on it. So anyway, we were able to get it on the trailer, me and Gary, and drug it home. So that was probably 2010, right after the crash, I think. Everyone was hurting a little bit, including myself. I didn't have money to spend, but you know what? You don't buy coupes for $2,000 every day. Goddamn fenders are worth $2,000. So anyhow, that's the story of the 38 Ford Deluxe that I will be getting on here soon enough, since I have most of the parts to put her together now. Got the front suspension, the rear end, and the rear springs, and all the motor and all that stuff. So we're about to get on it. It's like 3 or 4 cars back of the regular build cars, not including our chassis swaps. So anyway, that is that, and I will move on to the next one.